Hello, good afternoon. Or good evening. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now. So first of all, I want to bring something to your attention. So there is a scammer who is imitating my profile. I've already seen about over 3,000 followers for this scam account. It's called The Immigration Attorney, and my account is Immigration Lawyer Sharifa. So please, and my account is verified. So both on Facebook, both on Instagram, it's verified. So please make sure that you look out for this scammer. Don't give any money to anybody who's asking for money. What we do is we schedule the appointment first. So this person is probably not scheduling appointments. They're demanding money first, and they are accepting money by Cash App. We do not accept any money by Cash App. So if you just make sure that you double check the account first to make sure that it is indeed the verified account, and don't call. If in doubt, call. The page that I saw, it didn't have a link in the bio, it didn't have a link to anything. Our phone number is on the page as well. So it's 405-4889. There's no other number. So make sure you double check and verify that we're the real deal first. The account is verified, so use that account. Click on the profile, the link in that profile only, and we're always here to assist you to verify that this is real, because there are, and I'm not the only immigration attorney that's going through this. I've gone through this on TikTok with people. They are creating false accounts with my picture on there. Just make sure you double check first before doing anything, before giving any money. If they say send money by Cash App, just like that, no, it's not valid, because we don't do Cash App. The account that I saw, it was started in Kenya. So there are people all over the place creating false accounts to get money. So please just be wary of that. All right, so today I'm gonna go ahead and answer questions. So put your questions in the comments. I'm also gonna just go through one of the ways that my clients got approved for VAWA. So we just got an approval for our client. And I want to tell you about this case. So if you're going through the same thing, you know that it is possible, and as long as you find the right help, you can prevail in these cases. So this client, this dear client of ours, came here, fell in love, and was going through the process with their citizen spouse. Once they started the process, the citizen spouse became a nightmare. The citizen spouse started to demand money, and if my client, said they didn't have the money or they couldn't give the money, they would verbally abuse them, and they would threaten to call immigration, get them deported, or stop the paperwork. And they would also verbally abuse them, degrade them, do things that are disrespectful in front of them. For example, get with the ex, have the ex over at the house, even though they're supposed to be moving on. So in this case, one of the major emergencies that happened was that when they were ready to go to the marriage-based interview, after enduring this kind of abuse, when my client refused to give any further money or provide any unnecessary money for this American U.S. citizen spouse to go on a spending spree, the U.S. citizen spouse refused to go to the interview. That prompted my client to quickly get in touch with me, and to see what their options were, because they realized that now this their spouse was sabotaging them. And that's where I was able to let them know we can jump on it. We went ahead, uh, let immigration know that our client can't go to the interview because they're filing for VAWA. We filed for VAWA, canceled the interview, and then my client went through the process, was able to renew their work permit throughout the time. So they already had their work permit. They were able to continue on that work permit and social security number until we received the approval. So this case took 2.5 years for approval total. However, keep in mind that the journey is not, so you don't have a journey where you are left with nothing along the way. You do get your work permit and social security number so that you have some stability, you have some independence as you make your way to the green card. So, my client is, first of all, let me say this to you. As soon as I was able to tell my client that they had this option, they were so relieved. They were so happy that they could escape the situation. They found freedom, they found independence, they were able to achieve a lot in this time with their work permit and social security number. So life didn't stop for them, and it's only going to get better. So this is just to show you what kind of case gets approved, what kind of cases get approved. And even if your spouse decides that they are not going to go through the process because they're busy mistreating you or they're using it as leverage against you, VAWA is an option for you because no spouse is supposed to do that. So, all right. All right. So now that I've talked to you about a case that I've had that got approved, I also want to answer your questions. So put the questions in the comments now so that I can answer your questions. I went to do my citizenship, but I had an open case. What do I do now that it is closed? Okay, so I think it sounds like what you're talking about is an open case. Sounds like you may have had an open criminal matter going on, and when you have a criminal matter going on, they will not move forward with the citizenship. However, say if your case was dismissed, and there's no further implications on your good moral character, you can reapply for citizenship. So I would highly suggest that you give us a call and schedule that appointment so we can see if you can move forward with the citizenship now that it's closed. How long did the case take? So 2.5 years. How long it took for approval? So I just answered that. Applied for EAD renewal in January, still no receipt yet. Lawyer just waiting. So yeah, so it depends. If they're really busy right now, you're gonna see a lag in time. Applied for EAD in January, still no receipt. All right. Go ahead, put those questions in the comments so that I can answer your questions. Let's see. If someone came from Bosnia in 1990s, is it too late to seek asylum now in the US? So if there are changed circumstances, so generally yes. However, if there are changed circumstances that have now opened the door for you, there are changed circumstances in your country, Bosnia, that now allow you to apply or now opens the door for you to apply for asylum, now that could be a way to apply and then show that there are changed circumstances in the country that now warrant asylum. So that would be one way to get around it. Hi there, Sasha. It's nice to see you. If someone came from Bosnia in the 90s, so I answered that. Can I own a business in the USA with EAD from U visa petition, but I'm in F1 status, I'm in Texas. So yes, it is possible. You can use a work permit to do anything you want. You can own a business with that EAD. Can I own a business? I answered that. Um, can I travel internationally on an EAD via VAWA? Now, don't get the EAD confused with the travel document. What happens is you are issued a work permit card, and if you applied for a travel document at the same time, it's going to be you can get a combo card with both the travel document and the card in one. If you have to apply for the travel document separate, they're going to give you a paper for that. Can I own a business in the USA? So once again, yes. Um, my citizenship application denied because I was out of country 2 years during COVID. Can I challenge it? So, if, for example, you applied for a re-entry permit that would allow you to stay outside of the country for a period of time, then it would not have been held against you for citizenship. But if you left and you were out of the country for more than 1 year, it's hard to argue otherwise because they have to. So that is just a mandatory required denial if you're out of the country for more than 365 days. I know someone filed for VAWA 1 year, no prima facie. Is that a bad thing? So they should always. So what I do is, if it takes too long, I just check in to make sure immigration doesn't need anything further, and that usually prompts them to send a prima facie or send a request for evidence. Maybe that wasn't received, but yes, that is long for a prima facie. Do you get green card with asylum? After you're approved for asylum, then you do qualify to apply for the green card. I applied for asylum 4 years ago. Since then, no feedback from immigration. What can I do? So you're in the same boat as everyone else. So people are waiting even up to 8 years, um, 8 to 10 years for their asylum. So be prepared for the long haul. I'm over 2 years of marriage. Do you think there's a possibility to get the 10-year green card? Yes, you should be getting the 10-year green card. Um, do you help with citizenship? Absolutely. We enjoy, that's one of my favorites is citizenship. So we do that on a regular basis, actually. Okay, if I will be issued a T visa, can I get travel document? Yes, it's possible to get the travel document while on T. Can a VAWA case be approved but status has never changed from case transferred? Yes. So sometimes they don't update that case status update, and you'll get the notice, but the online status doesn't change. A relative of mine started her process years ago under the asylum program, given a temporary green card, but never followed through. So if she wouldn't have been given a temporary green card for asylum, but maybe a work permit. What can she do now? Been in the country for years now, so she should get legal advice because I would need to understand what happened there. How long does it take to get a work permit through VAWA? So 8 to 12 months. Can a VAWA case be approved, but status has never changed? I answered that. All right, so I don't see any other questions there. Do you have to live with your petitioner whenever you migrate? Not, it depends on the petitioner. So if it's a marriage base, there are questions that come up about whether the marriage is real if you're not living with your um, petitioning spouse. However, if it's a parent or a child, not necessarily. Do you help someone to visit for vacation? So if you're talking about the visitor's visa, so that's not a part of our routine. process right now. We mostly help individuals get permanent residence while staying in the US, or get permanent residence from outside of the US, but we don't do the visitors visas. I advise clients who maybe are here on visitors visa how they can possibly get residence, but we don't help people to get visitors visas. How long does it take for my son to file for me? If you're outside of the country, prepare for 2 years. If you're in the country, prepare for about a year. How long it take for travel documents? So right now, if you apply for the travel document alone, it's taking over a year. They're very backed up on those travel documents, unless you're applying for, if you have an expedited or emergency travel document application, which you can do through the USCIS website. I got locked up for speeding and also a ticket, which I paid off. Will that go against my citizenship? So usually whenever we talk about an offense like this, we have to look at the facts here, because it takes a lot. I would think it takes a lot to be locked up just for speeding. And so it makes me, so, excuse me. So it makes me wonder what the precise facts of your case are. So, this is where it's very important to get legal advice. However, if it's just speeding, if it's just a traffic violation with no other facts involved, I wouldn't think that alone is going to cause you to be denied citizenship. But I urge you, because being locked up for speeding, it takes a lot to do that. So I want to know more about your facts here. Will my husband's green card take longer if they reuse biometrics? Supposed to be shorter because they've cut out the whole biometrics appointment. Do you help one get green cards out of the US? Absolutely, we do. Will my husband's green card take longer if they reuse biometrics? No. How long is removing conditions? So 2 to 4 years. How long? And removing conditions is where you have the 2 year and green card, because you are, when you got married and you got approved for the green card, you were married for less than 2 years, so you got the 2 year, and then you have to remove the temporary conditions on that 2 year to get the 10 year. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about removing conditions. How long does it take my mom to file for me? She got her citizenship 2 years ago. So if you're 21 or over, it's a 5 to 7 year process. How long after marriage can you petition for the spouse? There's no rule that says you can't do it tomorrow. But what I always say is it advisable? This is where you want to get legal advice about what you need to prepare to submit a solid application. How much is USCIS filing fee for advance? I'm not sure what that is. Can a permanent resident file for my husband who overstayed his visa? It's unlikely, because if he's married, there's no category for a permanent resident filing for someone who's married. How long does it take for someone to have a green card while marrying a citizen? So I would say under a year right now. Can you petition for kids in Jamaica same time as yourself? Yes. So if you're married, your spouse can petition for you, and at the same time petition for the stepkids. Is it safe to travel on advance parole? Yes. Here's what it is. You're not gonna hear me say yes without figuring out what's going on in your particular situation. I advise my clients on a case by case basis whether it is worth the risk of traveling on the advance parole. Is there any in-person interview after applying for VAWA? Right now, they're waiving the interviews unless they have further questions. So, you can get scheduled for an interview, not at the VAWA stage, where they're just deciding on the mistreatment, but at the stage where they're ready. So they will, if they get approve you for that part, then you move on to get your green card. They may apply, schedule an interview for you at that stage. Why is immigration taking so long? My sister-in-law filed for her son with her green card and haven't, yes. So there are wait times depending on the category you're in. Work permit approved, and SSN received about 3 weeks, but EAD not received. So lately I'm noticing we too are getting the socials before the work permit. And it may be that they're referring it to Social Security before they even issue the card. But you can give it 2 to 3 weeks to see if that card comes, and call them if you feel like it's lost, or something is off. Call them to make sure they have the right address. What happens after an NTA, notice to appear, letter is received due to removal of conditional status being denied? So it means that you have to go to court to once again prove that the marriage was bona fide. So definitely make sure you're represented. You can always call us, schedule an appointment, and we can evaluate your case here. Applied for EAD renewal in January and still no receipt yet. Lawyer just waiting. So yeah, sometimes that happens. Sometimes it takes a few weeks to come through. My visa was revoked. Will this affect my petition? It depends on the reason for the revocation. Sometimes it can. If they attached a major immigration violation, you could also be inadmissible and you may need a waiver. Can a VAWA case be approved but never change from case transferred on the case status? Yes, that's possible. How many prima facie the average VAWA case gets? So I would say about 3 or 4 prima facies before you get that approval. How long after having a file on your record can you file for citizenship? So you have to be a permanent resident for 5 years generally, or if you're married to a citizen already, 3 years from the date you were approved for your permanent residence. How long does it take to get a travel document and work permit after getting married to a US citizen? So 3 to 6 months. So I sent in a question about the temporary green card, but it was actually amnesty from the 1980s, got temporary documents and was able to travel, but did not follow through. What can be done? Give us a call and we can evaluate that. My friend applied for asylum for 5 years, still waiting. Yes, they're taking an average of 8 to 10 years now. Good evening. How long your office take to prepare your VAWA cases? So it depends on the case and the complexity of the case. We're very thorough, so it just depends. It depends on how quickly our clients can get the documents to us, how complex it is, whether we need to request additional documentation from third parties. So I don't really have a specific timeline for you, but what I can tell you is that we definitely take the time necessary to put a good solid application together. So it could be a few weeks to prepare it, but if we need more time, we will take it to make sure our client gets approved. If the T visa is approved, will the T visa be applicable for spouses? Yes. So your spouse will be able to get the T visa as well. What happens after? What is it like to apply for a visa if you get a letter from the hospital? So there's what's called medical deferred action. And medical deferred action can give you permission to stay here, and I can see where a hospital letter can play into that. But other than that, a hospital letter isn't going to be, a big deciding factor in any other types of cases. Can a nonprofit organization just write a check from their checkbook to cover my AOS fee? So I wouldn't know that because I'm not a part of that organization. Hey, good evening. How long you would be working for someone before I can apply for a T visa? So I'm not sure what this question is asking. Someone's been getting prima facie since 2019 from a VAWA case. How long before they get a green card? So 2019 is a long time. And if it's taking that long, they need to check on their case. But once they get approved, then right after they are processing the application for issuance of the green card, they may schedule an interview or they may waive the interview. What's happening though, our clients are getting requests for evidence for the medical. Once that happens, that's a very big hint that they're going to waive the interview. Should a prima facie take 1.5 months? Wow, that's good news. And yes, it can take that short. Can a felon petition for his spouse if conviction was attempted robbery? Yes. So as long as that attempted robbery did not involve a minor, if it did involve a minor, then no. That you'd have to apply for a waiver to be allowed to apply for your spouse. Can a boss file for an employee who is from another country? Yes. However, a lot of employers promise a lot of things, and they either don't know the laws and give the wrong promises, or they intentionally promise you this to force you to work. If they did intentionally promise you to the papers for you to work, and they did that lying, knowing that they were lying, you could possibly qualify for the TVs as a victim of trafficking based on fraud. How long does traveling document take now? So generally 3 to 6 months, but if you're applying for it on its own, it can take up to a year. How long for a VAWA to be approved and residence if I file them together? So I would say from a beginning to a green card, you're looking at about 2.5 years to 3 years. I've been waiting for over a year for prima facie, and on my FOIA, there was a tick by the granted box. So I wouldn't be able, because I'm not looking at those documents. I wouldn't have any comments there. What you can do is, if you see this granted on the checkbox, but you didn't get it, you can contact immigration, the office, the visa, the VAWA unit, and let them know you haven't received it. Make sure they have the right address for you. All right. Put your questions in the comments. We have 2 minutes, and then I'm going to head out for the night. And then tomorrow I'll work to get on here at around lunchtime where I can talk to you at the usual time. But it's been really busy this week. For T visa, is it normal for the police to interview you? My situation happened 20 years ago, and the officer wants to interview me. So it depends on the situation. Sometimes the law enforcement, if it is going to be the police that's involved, sometimes they do have questions, and it's very routine. Sometimes they have a few questions, and then they don't pursue anything. But what you do need to do is speak with your attorney, and they will, help guide you through that process, that interview process. So whenever my clients are being requested for interviews, I'm always present there. Most of the time, so I speak on behalf of my clients. So they are not involved in interviews because I'm speaking on their behalf. But if they are requested for an interview, my client always has an element of control and throughout the entire process, and I'm there advising my client. and speaking for them as well. So speak to your attorney. That's going to be very important. Do you take clients from Connecticut? I have clients in Connecticut, so absolutely get in touch with me. Let's talk and get started, because I have clients all over, including Connecticut. Can you file for your parents in states that's not yet illegal? You can file for your parents anywhere. You know, but it just depends on whether you qualify as a citizen to apply for your parents to get their papers. But the federal laws is still different from the state laws, and the federal laws always trump, meaning all are always going to be the preferred route than the state law. I've been here 8 months on B1, B2. Any chance of converting to H visa? If you overstayed, that's going to be almost impossible. But give me a call. Let's schedule an appointment. That's going to be very important to figure out if there are alternative options for you. And then also, sometimes when I hear this situation, you came on a B1, you were promised papers by an employer, and then you realize after the fact, or that's when they tell you that they're not going to get your papers, or they start to back off of the promise. That could possibly qualify you for relief. How much does the consultation cost? It's $150. And then you can go to the link in the profile. Now you are on my official verified page. So make sure you schedule your appointment on this page by clicking the link in the profile. You will see a verified. And the reason I'm saying this is because just today we found out that there is someone that is posing as me with a separate account, and they have like 3,000 followers with my picture, and even photos of me in the feed. So please make sure you verify. I'm a verified account, so make sure you look at that. We don't take Cash App. We don't do transactions through Cash App. So make sure you're very wary about where you send your money. Call our office, speak to our staff if you have any concerns or want to verify anything. Is health issues qualified for T visa? So health issues can make your case stronger in regards to showing extreme hardship. They approved my VAWA last month. What's the next step? If I file the I-485, you're going to get you may get a request for an interview, or you may get a request for the medical, after which they get the medical, they will send the green card in the mail. Please, what should I do? My green card has been pending for 3 years now based on granted asylum. So you need to first, I would have to speak with you because you've already filed a case. I'd have to understand what's going on in your case. Did you receive a request for evidence? Are there more complex facts involved? Sometimes there are. Sometimes it is a matter of bringing this to immigration's attention so that they, make your case a priority. Is there someone posting your stuff? So yeah, exactly. It's an imposter, a scammer. So just be on the lookout here. What I have done is I've gotten my account verified so that you can now see the check mark beside my name. So when you see the check mark, not on TikTok, not on YouTube, I'm talking about Instagram and Facebook. So the account is verified there. But always you will see a Linktree account. It's not going to be a number where someone just demands money from you. There's going to be a Linktree link where you click on that link. You'll see my website. You'll see all the official sites related to the law firm. That's how you can get in touch and verify that that's us. Also call the office and we'll be more than happy to verify, that this is us. So I don't want anybody losing their money because of this scammer. So please make sure you verify before you send any kind of money. And then furthermore, we don't do Cash App. So just know if somebody's demanding Cash App, it's fake. Can you sponsor 2 people? Absolutely. All right, so that's it for me today. I always enjoy staying on and talking to you. So thanks again for all your good questions. I will be back tomorrow. I'm aiming for lunchtime, but what I say is follow me. You'll get notification when I'm live, and when I'm live, you can hop on with me and ask your questions. Thanks so much, everyone. I will see you tomorrow, all being well, and we can talk more. If I didn't get to your questions, please save your questions and then put them in the comments for tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye-bye.